You probably think this video is going to explain why people are irrational. It isn't, because the real story begins with something we never question: the idea that superstition is a glitch, a leftover from before we knew better. But what if superstition isn't a bug in human thinking? What if it's the price of admission? What if the same brain wiring that lets you predict a storm, trust a friend, or build a rocket is the exact same wiring that makes you knock on wood, avoid ladders, or believe your lucky socks change the outcome of an interview? The truth is stranger than you think, and it starts in the darkest forests our ancestors ever walked through. Imagine you're a hominid a million years ago. Dusk, a branch snaps behind you. Two possibilities: it's the wind or it's a leopard. Guess wrong and you don't get to guess again. Evolution doesn't care about being right, it cares about staying alive, so it built you a brain that sees intention everywhere. Psychologists call it the hyperactive agency detection device, HADD. Better to mistake a stick for a snake than a snake for a stick. Cognitive scientist Justin Barrett described our brains as having a hair-triggering device that responds overactively to ambiguous information that could potentially signal the presence of other agents. A branch breaking doesn't just startle you, it creates an agent in your mind. Something is out there. This isn't stupidity, this is survival software. The ancestors who ran, they lived. The ones who shrugged, they became lunch. Over millennia, the paranoid survived and passed it down. But HADD doesn't just detect predators, it detects patterns, meaning, and once your brain sees meaning, it can't turn off. You wore a red shirt, your team won. Your brain whispers cause and effect. This is error management theory. When missing a real threat means death, but jumping at shadows only means embarrassment, evolution always favors the false positive. Superstition isn't a failure of reasoning, it's the successful execution of a program designed to keep you breathing. But knowing where superstition comes from doesn't explain why it grips us, why smart people who know better still can't shake it. To understand that, we need to go inside the brain itself. In 1948, psychologist B.F. Skinner put 8 hungry pigeons in cages and fed them every 15 seconds automatically. Free food, no tricks. Within minutes, 6 of 8 pigeons developed superstitious behaviors. One turned counterclockwise, convinced spinning made food appear. Another swung its head like a pendulum. A third hopped from side to side. Each invented its own ritual. When Skinner stopped the food, one bird performed its hopping ritual over 10,000 times before giving up. Your brain runs on dopamine. When an unexpected reward hits, dopamine spikes. It doesn't care whether you caused the reward, it only cares that the reward followed your behavior. That spike etches the behavior into your neural circuits. The basal ganglia don't distinguish between real causation and coincidence. They only know action happened, reward followed. Strengthen the connection. Psychologists call this adventitious reinforcement. The reward is an accident, but your brain treats it like a law of nature. This is why superstition is neurologically sticky in ways rational thought isn't. Logic doesn't speak dopamine, and dopamine is the language of belief. Elite athletes know this. A 2016 review in the Scandinavian Journal of Psychology found that superstitious behaviors increase with uncertainty and competition stakes. The higher the pressure, the more ritual you need. And here's the twist: these rituals actually work. Placebo research in sports shows performance improvements of 1 to 5% from purely psychological interventions. A review of 12 studies found placebo benefits ranging up to 50.7% in some contexts. Your belief becomes your biology. When an athlete puts on lucky socks, they're dosing themselves with performance-enhancing belief. But here's what almost nobody talks about. This isn't actually about luck. It's about something much darker and much more beautiful. The same brain circuitry that makes you superstitious is the circuitry of imagination, pattern recognition, seeing possibilities that don't exist yet and making them real. You cannot separate superstition from creativity. They are twins. The HADD that sees a ghost in a shadow is the same mechanism that lets an entrepreneur see opportunity where others see chaos. The pattern seeking that connects your red shirt to victory is the same pattern seeking that let Newton connect a falling apple to planetary motion. Superstition is the shadow cast by intelligence, and you don't get to keep the light without the shadow. Not all superstition is created equal, and this is where research gets surprising. In 2025, Japanese researchers published a study in Scientific Reports that should change how we think about luck. They had 441 adults play a memory card game and measured something we rarely distinguish: the difference between believing life is governed by luck and believing you personally are lucky. They called them belief in luck and personal luckiness. Believing life is governed by luck was linked to lower life satisfaction, less autonomy, more anxiety. If luck is a tyrant, you're just living in its kingdom. But feeling personally lucky, that was associated with higher life satisfaction, more positive emotions, fewer negative emotions. These people attributed success to both luck and their own abilities. Fortune wasn't a replacement for effort, it was a partner. One makes you a passenger, the other makes you a collaborator. Psychologist Richard Wiseman spent a decade studying lucky versus unlucky people. He found lucky people weren't experiencing more random good fortune. They were simply noticing more opportunities. They turned adversity into advantage. Your belief about luck doesn't just change how you feel. It changes what you see, what you do, and ultimately, what your life becomes. Believing you're lucky makes you behave in ways that create luck. The ritual isn't magic, but the confidence it creates, that's real. But there's a dark side. The same wiring that makes us knock on wood has also made us burn people alive. Between 1560 and 1630, Europe executed an estimated 40,000 to 60,000 people for witchcraft. In Salem in 1692, mass hysteria killed 20 people. The community's HADD kicked in. Someone must be causing this. Hidden agents, hidden malice. The same error management that says better safe than sorry becomes deadly when safe means murdering your neighbor. Today, we don't hunt witches, but we share conspiracy theories. We see patterns in random data and assume intention behind chaos. When real causes are invisible, our brains invent visible agents. Social media is a superstition amplification machine. It takes one person's pattern detection and broadcasts it to millions, creating shared hallucinations of causation. Psychologist Stuart Wise warned that while superstitions reduce anxiety temporarily, they can block rational decision-making. A person might delay medical treatment believing bad health is caused by curses rather than biology. A student might refuse an exam without their lucky pen, experiencing genuine panic if they lose it. The ritual that comforts you can also imprison you. So where does this leave us? If superstition is baked into our biology, if it's the shadow of the intelligence that makes us human, then trying to eliminate it is like trying to eliminate fear. What you want is to understand it, know when it's helping and when it's hurting. The ancient logic behind bad luck isn't about luck at all. It's about control, or rather, the illusion of control. And here's the thing about illusions. Sometimes they're useful. Sometimes they're the only thing standing between you and despair. When a cancer patient wears a lucky bracelet into chemotherapy, it's not because they believe it cures cancer. It's because in a moment of absolute helplessness, the bracelet gives them something to hold on to, a tiny island of agency in an ocean of uncertainty. When an athlete performs a pre-game ritual, they're not manipulating the universe, they're manipulating their own nervous system, telling their brain, "I've got this." And the brain believes it, and the body follows. The question isn't whether superstition is rational. The question is, what is it doing for you? If it's giving you confidence, connection, comfort, maybe it's not so irrational after all. But if it's making you afraid of shadows, suspicious of strangers, or passive in the face of your own life, then it's time to recognize it for what it is: a survival mechanism from a million years ago, misfiring in a modern world. You don't need to stop knocking on wood. You just need to know why your hand is moving. Here's what I want you to do. For the next 24 hours, write down every superstitious thought or ritual you catch yourself doing. Not the obvious ones, the hidden ones. The way you always sit in the same seat. The way you avoid saying something out loud in case you jinx it. The way you check your horoscope just for fun. Then, next to each one, write what you were feeling right before. Anxious, excited, uncertain. Do this for one day, and I promise you, you'll discover your superstitions aren't random. They're a map of your fears, and once you can read the map, you don't have to be lost in it. If you do this, come back and tell me what you found because I genuinely love to know.